let me say, a word in defense of reason in dialogue with faith.
Because faith is that proof. Faith unites us to that substance.
But reason, in order to realize its full potential, needs the horizons revealed by and truths contained in the faith. And not just any faith, but the Catholic faith.
What does Catholic social teaching say about itself? So instead of just starting with what it says, starting by talking about the principles, maybe we should understand what it actually is as a part of overall Catholic teaching. And so you have CSD as the abbreviation for the Compendium of the Social Doctrine, okay? Again, the document that you've all been asked to read, a part of. I don't think this one fell within your readings. I can't remember for sure. But This refers back to what we were just talking about in terms of the history as well. The Church's social doctrine was not initially thought of as an organic system, but was formed over the course of time through the numerous interventions of the magisterium on social issues. The fact that it came about in this manner makes it understandable that certain changes may have taken place with regards to its nature, method, and epistemological structure. Okay? So that may sound a little bit confusing, like when we're trying to answer the question of what is the nature of Catholic social teaching, what it says is the nature is changing. All right, let's not get too caught up in that because we could end up in a postmodern mess. But I think what it's referring to is the fact that Catholic social teaching developed in just the way I said it did, by the popes beginning with Leo perceiving a challenge and an opportunity and taking it. It didn't develop in the same way that other pieces of theology did or other disciplines, subdisciplines within theology did. And so, not to use this pejoratively, but simply as a descriptor, in a way it developed in a sort of haphazard fashion, okay? Simply by the popes reflecting on contemporary situations and then applying the gospel, applying Catholic teaching to them. And this is, the reason that I bring this up is because I think it helps to bring some understanding. If you read through the documents, read through the encyclicals on their own, sometimes it can be a bit confusing because it seems like they're in one place and then in another. Sometimes they seem to be saying things that are kind of in tension with each other. But if you understand that each of those documents is intended for a specific historical context, then I think you can appreciate sort of the developing nature of it. Okay? I also think that although this is true descriptively of the development of the social teaching over the course of the 20th century, I think at this point in time we've come to some kind of consensus or understanding, kind of settled on an understanding of what the social teaching is. And I think actually the compendium is an example of that. Okay? The fact that there is a compendium that tries to articulate, to summarize the social teaching up to that point demonstrates the fact that maybe this fluidity in nature, method, and structure is actually kind of coming to settle in a kind of stable place. Okay? I think the compendium demonstrates that. So we will treat it for the most part as more or less a settled matter so that we don't get into postmodern difficulties. All right. Secondly, and of course there are lots of quotations one might refer to when trying to identify what the social teaching says about itself. I've tried to select what I think are the most telling. This one I think is extremely important. It's from SRS's Solicitudo Rei Socialis, which was one of John Paul's social encyclicals. He says this: the Church's social doctrine is not a third way between liberal capitalism and Marxist collectivism, nor even a possible alternative to other solutions less radically opposed to one another. Rather, it constitutes a category of its own. Nor is it an ideology, but rather the accurate formulation of the results of a careful reflection on the complex realities of human existence, in society and in the international order, in the light of faith and of the Church's tradition. Now, I've added that emphasis, that bolding there, because I think insofar as you can locate an actual definition of Catholic social teaching within the teaching itself, I think that's it right there. Maybe not the simplest definition, but if you read it carefully and try to understand it, I think you pretty much get at the essence. Its main aim is to interpret these realities, determining their conformity with or divergence from the lines of the gospel teaching on man and his vocation, a vocation which is at once earthly and transcendent. Its aim is thus to guide Christian behavior. It therefore belongs to the field not of ideology but of theology, and particularly of moral theology. Now that part of it should have already been made clear, right? Catholic social teaching is a branch of, a subdiscipline within moral theology. It's about how to act as a Christian in the world. That's its subject matter. It is not economics. It's not sociology. It's not history. It doesn't pretend to be any of those things. It is theology.